Welcome back. You're listening to AgPhD Radio. Darren Hefty with Rob Fritz here. We're talking about high corn populations, and one of the keys is getting the fertilizer right. So we've got Dr. Kyle Freeman with the Mosaic Company on the line. How you doing, Dr. Freeman?
Great. Darren, how are you guys?
Not too bad. When we talk about high population corn production, it's got to go hand in hand with a good fertility recommendation, right?
That's exactly right, Darren. What we think is that whenever a farmer makes a decision to plant more seeds per acre in his field, that's a conscious decision to raise the yield goal that he's trying to achieve in that field. And so whenever he makes that decision, there's more than just more plants that needs to go into that, including what the management practices are that he's going to include, and what a balanced crop nutrition plan that can now support this higher yields that he's shooting for than maybe he did in the past.
I think one of the terms that we hear a lot from farmers is balance. How do I get the balance right on my fertility apps?
Yeah, so I think you need to take into account a lot of different things. One, what's the demand for the crop? So if you're at a yield goal of 250, what's the amount of P and K that is going to be required just to produce the crop? What's going to be removed in that crop once you take that crop off the field, and that you're taking into account all the different nutrients. And it's not just about nitrogen or nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium anymore, but we've got to consider some of the nutrients that maybe we didn't have to in the past because our yield goals, the soil could support yield levels of 150 or 200 bushels, but now that we're at these higher levels, we're really testing what these soils can provide in terms of some of the secondary nutrients like sulfur and magnesium, and even especially the micronutrients, zinc, boron, etc. And so the balanced approach is just taking into account all these different nutrients as they make that crop nutrition plan.
You bet. Any final comments you have, Dr. Freeman? If you have growers that come to you and say, hey, I'm going to start boosting my populations up, I'm going to bump it another 2,000, 4,000 plants per acre, any other advice you have?
What I would say is that as you add more plants per acre, you impact the size of the root of each plant. And we have to remember with immobile nutrients like phosphorus and potassium that we got to make sure that nutrient, you have enough of that nutrient available where the roots can actually take it up, because they're not mobile in the soil. It needs to be in proximity or in the amount close to those roots so that they can take it up throughout the growing season.
You bet. That's great advice. Hey, thanks a lot, Dr. Freeman. Really appreciate you joining us.
You bet.